folks, here we are at Snetterton for the 300 circuit. My race number 3. It was the very last corner of the very last lap that I got a little tap from behind. Well, so here we are. It's race weekend, Snetterton, Roadsports 750 Motor Club. Cars are all loaded. We are ready to set off. This is Friday morning. So we've got a half-day testing to do at the circuit. Initially I thought it was an open pit lane, however it seems it's 2 25-minute sessions. Doesn't seem a lot for 250 quid, I have to say, so thanks very much MSV. We haven't really done that much to the car. If I flip it around, let me see, it is this button. What I did find is that the vent on the power steering reservoir was pointed this direction, and we were getting some venting with the pressure drop into the air filter. So found online, just stuck a little earbud in there. Nothing else, all is good. What you might have seen, I haven't really covered it that much, is one of the front wishbones took a hell of a knock at Brands, obviously over the curb, and it knackered the inner bush. So that had to be replaced. The tracking redone again. Inside the car, if you haven't seen the previous video, we put in a little pit radio in now. Stuck the antenna to the roof using what we call in the airplane industry high-speed tape. I've moved the Solo 2 to the dash because we were getting false G readings with it being on the steering wheel previously. So that is pretty much it. I haven't really altered any of the settings at all. I'm going to go a couple of extra clicks, or one extra click on the front, adjustable dampers, just to tighten that up just fractionally. Don't want to make too many changes, and that's going to be it. So here's the treble one support vehicle, appropriate reg and all, and there we go. Fresh set of Nankang AR1s. Not sure whether we'll actually use those or not, but they're there as a backup. We've had 2 races, 2 full test season, 2 test days, and a track day on the original tires, so they haven't done too badly at all. Quite happy with the wear rates on the AR1s. As long as you get the pressures right, you get some nice even wear across, so that's all ready to go just in case. I basically ordered it. I'll flip it around again if I can. Kept the AE Racing, so thanks to Mike at AE Racing, he put the tires on, and he just said, leave the stickers on, and we'll call it quits. So thanks, Mike, for that. He's unable to come with me today, so he's got other things planned, being Grand Prix race weekend. Excited. This is the first drive by myself solo. So who knows what a 45-minute race is like. I'm sure the Club Enduro boys will just say, oh well, that's just a warm-up for our 2-hour race, but nevertheless you got to start somewhere. Just got to get some tape across the numbers, because I'm driving it on the road in accordance with MSA regulations. They don't want us displaying numbers on the road, quite rightly so. I'll try and not be a dick today, and we'll have a bit of fun. So more at Snetterton. So here we go, Snetterton 300 hot lap, start finish straight. Fantastic circuit if you don't mind it looking like a big willy. So 5th gear, Rich is in, not too worried about the first apex. I'm worried about the second one though. You can see there's not much runoff. So straight up to Montreal, hairpin 5th, straight down into 3rd, avoiding gulfs as we go, complete disregard for their own safety and everyone around them. So I lost a little bit of time there. Anyhow, left turn into Palmer, long entry, probably could have gone a little bit faster there. You see the G's only 1.15, so straight down into Agostini, another 5th to 3rd change, slowish corner, plenty of runoff though, plenty of curb, so I think that wasn't too badly done at all. Hamilton faster than it looks, in and straight through onto the par early, and then Oggies is slower than it looks, 5th to 3rd. A lot of people seem to take a lot of curb there, but didn't really feel a need to. This is a really important corner. This is Williams, goes straight onto the Bentley straight. If you cock up Williams, you cock up the straight, and it's really difficult. So there it is, probably one of the longest straights that we have on any circuits, probably the fastest we're going to see. There's 116. Now keeping it in 5th, turning in and trail braking all the way in, and 5th to 3rd, and a very short turn into Nelson, and this is into the bomb hole. There's a little dip there, you see the G at 1.43, using all the dip to get the grip. And Coram, a scary corner. 4th gear, initially flat and then lifting, and then it tightens up very slightly, and then it's 4th to 3rd, the quick left into Murray's, and then back on to the start finish straight. 11 turns, all fairly technical stuff, and I believe it takes a while to get used to it all. So a 2:21, I was well happy with that. Well folks, here we are at Snetterton for the 300 circuit, my race number 3, cars behind me. We qualified 8 out of 12th in class, 35 out of 47 overall, and we're just about to go over to the assembly area. Race is scheduled for 2:05. It's a big long circuit. We managed a 2 minutes 21 on the very last lap of qualifying. Always nice to see. The car feels fine, the weather's lovely, blue skies, really hot day, even hotter in the car as you'd expect. This is the first time I'm going to be doing a solo race, so all 45 minutes is me. Just need to stop for 90 seconds at some stage between 15 minutes and 30 minutes in the race. The total is 45 minutes, so we'll see how that works out. I'm going to take some advantage of any safety car that comes out during the pit window if it can. Otherwise, the plan is to come in towards the tail end of that. Not much more really to say. Hopefully it all works out. Just trying to keep it steady, keep it on the black stuff, and enjoy the race. Looks like Dave Connell's just ahead of me in the MX-5, blue one, Scuderia Dave. So might have a bit of a race with him, and Stuart Kilroy about there as well. I think I might just be ahead of him on time, but we're all very similarly paced, so it seems like we might have a race on. So here we have it, the race. For those of you who haven't seen my race videos, there's the full uncut version, unedited. We call it the boring version because it's 45 minutes of little cars going around a circuit. Anyway, this will be the heavily edited version. What you'll see is basically all the setup, the telemetry. There's the track in the bottom left. We've got the G meter next to it. The central speedo with the peak speeds and min speeds. Then we've got the lap timer, the best lap so far, and the actual lap counter there on the bottom right. So that's it so far. This is the formation lap. Basically we just keep station, 2 abreast, and really I should be beside that grey Golf by the time we start. Pit radio is going to play a part in this. We'd already agreed that it would be silent. It's fully allowed that you can get the go signal on the pit radio, so I'm listening for a go 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 on the radio. As soon as the lights go out, they illuminate red. As soon as the leaders approach the gantry where the lights are, they will turn the lights off, and the race is started. I can overtake at that stage, don't need to wait to the start finish line. So it's a big old circuit, this one. It escapes me just the length of it, but it's the fastest guys are still 2 minutes or thereabouts. We're in the 2:20 mark. You've just seen the hot lap. You won't see anything like that in this race. 50 cars on the track at the same time, but you'll see they spread out nicely. So this is the Bentley Straight. So everybody just trying to warm their brakes, get a little bit of heat into the tires, and keeping it sensible. A little bit of weaving. Shouldn't be using any more than half the track there. Making sure the oil's up to temperature as well, because when we go, we'll all be piling into the first right-hander as fast as we possibly can. So at this point, I'm just trying to keep it steady, trying to bunch up with the guys ahead, because what happens is you get round the final corner and then just everybody goes for it. We know the lights are going out and you don't want to be caught napping. But you see now how important it is to qualify actually well up the field. The leaders there are so far ahead. We all string out a bit. If anything, we should really try and bunch up as much as we can, but it's really, really difficult to do. And of course, I understand with so many cars on the circuit, this is quite possibly the safest way to do it rather than the standing start. So this is the final corner. I should really be up there beside the Golf, but they're all gone and I'm flat out. And go. There you go. So the Golf's really that forces me onto the grass. But the last thing I want to do there is take position with Dave off the racing line, so that I would get a penalty for that. So it's really a free-for-all here. And I've lost a couple more places. There we go. Some of the faster cars, in fact. Nothing I could really have done about that. So. You can see how how close proximity you actually are. This is the scary bit of the race. You get one lap over you, things start to thin out just that little bit, and it gets an awful lot easier. But I just want to keep it clean. There's a red BMW, so that's a Class C car. He's going some already. You can see a little sneak in the mirror there, and that's Stuart Kilroy. He's in a similarly paced 206 GTI, so you see what happens with him later on. So here we have the fast forward sequence. Just gets a bit of procession, makes your TV go a bit silly as well. So just to take out the boring bits. So back through Coram, and there's the MX-5 alongside Ivor Mayers, experienced racer, racing tomorrow in the Club enduro as well. Good on him. I think that's the last we see of Ivor. He finishes a couple of places ahead. But a seasoned racer, some say he has the widest MX-5 in the country. So Stuart Kilroy by me there as well. I need to get that first corner at Riches sorted. So you can start to see a common theme here. Myself and Stuart getting into a tussle. So let's speed it up to the next interesting bit. So another fast forward sequence. You can see the counter counting up there. And that's the way it is. We got the 330 BMW. We got Stuart in the 206 there as well. So into turn 11, I just seem to get that little bit of extra drive out of the corner for some reason, and come up alongside this BMW. I'm assuming it's a 330, the same as mine. All seems to be a bit intact at the moment, so that's a good thing. And I just seem to be able to outdrag him. Getting a bit more confident into this turn 5 now. Speed's well over 80 miles an hour now. And then I've got my eye on the Peugeot ahead.
Nothing I can tell you really, Ed, but all the cars you can see immediately ahead of you are all C, so you're racing them all. Look at
So this is where the pit radio really starts to pay dividends. I can tell which cars are coming up behind are going to lap me, and I can tell which cars I'm actually racing and concentrate on doing the job, letting the guys by that I know I'm not racing. It's going to be a little ways into the race with such a long circuit before they start lapping, but you'll see it happens all fairly quickly. So that's the other one I need to get sorted, is Hamilton. Just not going through fast enough in there, and you can see Stuart ahead. He's just making headway there. So I'll fast forward and let's see if we can catch him up a little. So I did say this was the heavily edited version. This is 8 minutes of racing into 1 minute. Nothing much happens, but you can see I'm reeling him in. Looking to see where he's slower, looking to see where I'm faster for any possible overtaking opportunities. So this gives me a little bit of encouragement. I can see myself gaining. It gives me an idea for the next time round.
on pace, well done, you was right on it, take it.
So at this stage I'm thinking that the pit window shouldn't be far off. Just need to keep it steady and see if we can't get something put together for the next lap. So it's just a matter of following Stuart around, seeing where he's quicker, seeing where he's slower. But I think that last corner might have something to do with it, so let's see what happens. so somehow I seem to get a bit of extra drive out of the final turn, and I think I just keep my foot in. There's also people coming up the back to try and lap us as well, but looks like I make it stick, and I keep Stuart behind me. So as far as I'm concerned, that's Stuart dispatched, and there's Dave Connell, or I think it's his co-driver. It's just ahead. You can start to see some of the Class A cars and B cars starting to lap. So the intention here is, I know the pit window is now open, and looking back at the other race results and the lap times, it seems that when people start to lap around about the 20 to 22 minute way, that people start to get clear track and start to do quite well in their lap times. You can see I've increased just a little bit to 2:23s. Alright, so the pit window's open. So this MR2 was a bit of a shock. Turns out he was in the same class as me. Wasn't really expecting it.
20 minutes in within 3 laps, please.
So here's just a little bit of a procession. Trying to put in some good lap times. And working towards the end of the window. I'd asked the guys to give me a 20 and 25 minutes, and whether the garage was free or not. So in the previous video to this, if you want to actually listen to all the communications, you can find them in the uncut full race version. If you want that boring edition, go ahead. Yeah, I've got a clear track, so we're going to stay out a little bit longer.
Understood, stay out. Your pit garage, the chap you're sharing with, they're getting ready to change over. He's not in yet, but he'll be in imminently. If you stay out for at least 1 more lap next time past the pit.
Yeah, just let me know when they're out. Snetterton's a big track anyway, but you can see here how clear it actually is as all the driver swaps go on. So that's the Area Motorsport Class B Type R flying past, significantly more powerful than the 330 here. They always seem to do very well, well organised and very committed team, so they tend to run several cars, maybe see a Golf around as well.
Okay, Ed, 25 minutes, either in this next time or possibly 1 more lap. Your pit garage is occupied. I just 1 more lap and then in.
Okay, understood. 1 more and then in. So here we're acutely aware of the fact that we need to get in and get the pit stop done.
1 more lap afterwards and in.
Hey, firm, all confirmed. So if we miss the pit window at 30 minutes, you get a penalty for stopping outside of the window. And has to be avoided at all costs. Might be something like a 1 lap penalty, I think. I need to check though. But if you miss it, effectively your race is over. So have I got time for one more lap? Is the garage free?
Garage is now free. Garage is free. You are free to come in this lap.
Okay, in this time, in box.
Left in the pit window.
So I've obviously spoken over Simon here, and I don't know whether he's actually heard me that I'm coming in or not.
I would suggest you come in this lap.
Yeah, in this time. Garage number 5. Just wave at me. Wave in a 45, thank you. This is why I love the GoPro Max. You can just choose your angles in the editing. Right, don't worry about filming, it just needs some water. I'm so hot at this stage. All I can think about is trying to cool down.
Hold on, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I'm sure you are.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, all good. Is there any fluids, any leakages? Just a general look around. Just close that door, Adam. Just close that other door, please. I don't need the door open, thank you. And here I wasn't really sure whether we were allowed the second door open into the side of the traffic. What time are we at, folks?
Not quite 60 seconds.
Alright, so Simon's on the radio, and Adam's the timekeeper here. That's alright. Thank you, that's perfect, Dad. Right. 90 seconds stationary. And Simon knows he needs to give me a safe release, as they say. Just give me an extra second. All clear. Nice guys, good one. So you'll see now the data from the AM Solo has gone back to lap number 1 because the car was stationary. It thinks this is a new session. So both Class B cars, not too worried there.
It looks like we got you about 10 seconds ahead of that Peugeot. Stay ahead of him.
Brilliant.
Peugeot, you are racing him. You are 9 seconds behind the next C-Class car, which is the first car ahead of you.
Okay, which car is that? So the pit window is effectively shut now at 30 minutes. And it's all about trying to build a mental model as to who on earth is out in front and behind. You really don't know as a driver. Okay, which car is ahead of me?
MX5, 9 seconds ahead. 9 seconds ahead, MX5.
Yeah, So what I know at this stage is there's nobody really behind me, and Dave Connell's MX-5 is about 9 seconds in front. So it's just about keeping it moving. Another 15 or so minutes to go.
There's an MX-5 16 seconds up the road. You are not racing the Golf ahead, but ahead of him is an MX-5, you are racing him.
Okay, thank you. So I'm very conscious about not holding anybody up that's going to lap me, and that's the Class C boys, and I just want to know who to let straight through with the minimum of effort, really.
You're 8 seconds ahead of the next competitor behind you.
So what we didn't really plan on is the safety car coming out, but it came out after the pit window shut, so there's no real advantage there. What I'm trying to do is just catch up with the train. The guys all behind the safety car, and of course no one overtaking with the full course yellows essentially. Okay, I've caught the train. So now it's just trying to figure out who's ahead, who's behind, who's in the same class, who's not. So I've got Class B, and then Class B ahead of me. Then I've got the Golf, and then I've got, let me see, a Civic. And then I think you're saying the next MX-5 is it's Scooter Red Dave then?
According to the official timing sheets, you've got a Golf ahead of you and an MX-5 ahead of him. And it's the MX-5 and an MR2 ahead of him that you're racing.
Okay, yeah, I can see them now. Yes, Dave's blue Mazda, and then the MR2 beyond that. Perfect, thank you.
That's right, it's Dave Connell. And so yeah, there's a Golf ahead of you, he's B, and then ahead of that is the MX-5, he is C.
Yeah, more importantly, I think I've got Stuart Kilroy behind me in the Peugeot.
He should be 8 seconds behind still.
No, he's now caught up with the train.
Yeah. Yes, you are racing him, I can now see you. Yes, he's right on your bumper. Yeah, you are racing the Peugeot behind.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, they're still recovering a vehicle out by Montreal, turn 2.
Maintain position and go like hell when they release you.
Yeah, that's the problem.
This work whilst it's quiet, you have four C-class cars behind you.
Okay then, and is there any of them lapping me? Is there anything on anyone on a lap ahead on Class C? It should be something like Jonathan Packer or Matt Creed.
Actually, that's the first one I found. Actually, both he in his Type R and Rory Batiste and Matt Creed. So there's a Renault, a Beamer, and a Civic ahead of you.
So they're all ahead and going to lap, is that correct? Except for Stuart Kilroy, yeah?
Correct.
So he's the only one I've got to block. I can let the others through, correct?
No. There are 4 C-class cars behind you in the race.
Okay, in the race. And the leading Class C car is what?
The first one to lap you will be a Renault Clio.
Okay, do you know the number?
Number 7.
Okay, so he's the first lapping Class C, correct? Okay, everyone else stays behind.
Again?
I say everyone else stays behind except for that number 7 Clio then. Sorry, just confirming that everyone stays behind except for that number 7 Clio, correct?
A firm.
Okay, and who is directly after him?
There's a Seat Leon behind him, and then there's another Clio, which is Group C.
Okay, what number is it, please?
These two, 7 and 23, you are letting through. 7 and 23.
Okay, that's Matt Creed, is it?
Correct.
Yeah, that'll do. Thank you very much. So 2 Clios to let through, and everyone else stops. So I should really clarify that and say that everyone else in Class C stops. So what I'm trying to do is know exactly who to let through and who to race. What's the time looking like as well?
Looking at that, we've got 6 minutes of racing left. 6 minutes.
Yeah, but I can lose an awful lot of places in 6 minutes.
Well, don't. Put your foot down.
I think not.
So that's all a bit ominous, really. I've got 4 Class C cars behind me, as we'll see. So safety cars out. We've got the train effectively.
Realistically, if they release you on this lap, there's only 2 laps of racing to go. How close are they to clearing that wreck?
They were lifting it over the barrier as we spoke, so it shouldn't be too long.
Realistically, at the moment, you've got 2 laps of racing ahead of you.
Okay, no worries. What position am I running in Class C then?
Right. The safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap.
Okay, thank you. What position am I running Class C?
Bye.
So the safety car info here is an absolute gem. I know at the last corner that we just go for it. Hopefully catch people napping.
7th in C. 7th in C.
Thank you. Looks like everybody else has got the same idea and they're gone. So we're all green. So unlike a rolling start where you can overtake before the start line, under the safety car, there's no overtaking until you actually cross the start-finish line. So that's a Class D car we've just gone by, letting a few of the Class A and B boys through, but I've got Dave Connell in my sights ahead, little blue and white MX-5.
Not let that Peugeot get you.
Liam Crilly in his awesome little 3-litre Z4. Same engine as mine. He's a much more experienced racer, and he's racing a Class B. So much more interesting now because of the bunch up, all the Class A and B guys that would lap us, and the Class C boys as well, all overtaken. So it gets very interesting trying to keep an eye on the mirrors.
This will be your last lap. This will be your last lap.
So now I have this Class C 330 in my sights, just waiting for him to make a mistake. actually see Dave Connell in the MX-5. That's the challenge, whilst warding off everyone else behind. So I can see loads of Elise approaching fast. So I give him a little room, upsets me a little bit, and I just got to back off just that little bit to allow Stuart to close up from behind. As far as I'm concerned, he's not getting the position. So a quick glance in the mirror before I commit. And then I hear this crash. I honestly thought I'd gone over the curb. Bloody hell, last corner, last lap. It's so upsetting. Those two Class C cars get behind. There's Rory Baptiste, he's lapping me. And that's it, 6 to 9 in Class C, and one corner. Anyway, that's racing. There's Matt Creed flying by for the second. Well guys, final wrap up from Snetterton. Fantastic day. If you can hear us over the noise. Qualified 35th out of 47 cars. We ended up finishing 31st overall. Qualified 8 out of 12 in Class C, and worked our way up to 6th. Then we came back down to 7th, and it was the very last corner of the very last lap that I got a little tap from behind, spun it out and lost that position, so ended up finishing 8th. Again in Class C. I'm happy with that. Was consistently doing 2 minutes 22, 2:23 during the race with the traffic. Qualified with 2 minutes 21. So as a first look at the track, I think that's fairly respectable. There are incremental gains, should we say, to be made throughout. It just takes bigger balls than I had yesterday. Turn 1 is a 5th gear, 100-mile-an-hour plus corner. Some of the guys are pulling 120 mile an hour around there. That's just absolutely crazy. So I don't know what the GPS speeds were, but we'll have to have a look what I was actually achieving there. So it was a 5th gear, quick dab on the brakes and round, and it was just immense. Probably the fastest we've ever been down the Bentley straights. Not that we get a chance to look at the speedo that often, but it was showing a solid 120 with the shift lights flashing in 5th, and that was fantastic as well. And that's then a big trailing brake, left a hander, and then a really sharp right down into 3rd. So a nice circuit, 11 turns to try and memorize. I'm glad I did the test day on Friday. Without that, I'd just been absolutely lost here. So the weather helped as well. As you can see, a beautiful bright sunny day. Hot. I felt as if I was going to pass out whilst waiting in the assembly area. There was a spillage that they needed to clean up, so we ended up running probably 15 minutes late. And sat in a car down there is just horrendous, absolutely horrendous. But once we got moving and all the rest of it, it started to get a bit more manageable. But even during the race, the sweat was running down and stinging my eyes. I was using the time on the straights to try and clear that away, which doesn't help because once you start rubbing your eyes, it gets really difficult. It was the first solo event that I did as well, so full 45 minutes racing. The radios worked fantastically. I was able to get information from Simon all about who was behind, who was in front, and you'll obviously hear it when you see the race, which perhaps on this one you've already heard that. So we were able to come up with a strategy for pitting when the garage was free at the back end of the pit window. So finally, I'll try and turn this around. We can see I've changed the wheels back onto the road wheels for the drive home, but the only mark is a little bit of rust showing through there, but the only little mark is there. There's another little scrape there, and the wheels are scuffed as well, so all around this sort of area on the spokes. But you know what, as a racing incident goes, it wasn't really that bad. And I believe there's a fantastic shot. I believe there's a fantastic shot. I mean, photographers were all over the place at that corner, so we'll show that as well. So thanks for watching. Till the next time, it is Silverstone International Circuit in August, so not that far away. Car's behaved impeccably. It hasn't used really any oil at all, and it handles beautifully, so I ain't touching anything on the settings. It's just going to be as it is. I've driven the International on a track day, one of the first outings we had. If you can look past onto the practice, you'll find a video there. Till the next time, thanks very much indeed. Thanks for all your support and all your well wishes. I'm having a blast, and long may it continue. Thanks very much. Bye bye.